Hey, and good evening. Meteorologist Chris Smith here. Meteorologist Dan Nyman also here with the latest on the auroras. I did not think, admittedly, that they would end up being visible, but here we are nonetheless for, I think, the third time, maybe fourth time in my life, and we can see them here in Northwest Florida. Not necessarily with the naked eye, though.
No, it's all about this guy right here, your smartphone, or for us, we had the drone up there just a few moments ago too, the long exposure mode on your phone, which will be in, I guess it's a different spot for everybody's device, but on the iPhone, it's one of the things you can kind of swipe to the side on and open up and then select the longest amount of time you can to capture as much light as possible. And then I guess with some TV magic or camera magic, you can catch a glimpse of what everybody's talking about here across the United States, because it is, at this point, pretty much a nationwide event. We've been talking to folks in Mississippi with Matt Laubon. We saw pictures from Mike Kruger in Northern California, friends up north as well, up towards Pennsylvania. Kind of everybody seeing at least some level of color.
Yeah, and it's amazing to see, you know, and it took a minute. We had a viewer send us a picture, and we were skeptical, as you need to be in this day of AI and all that kind of stuff. But he was right, and they were visible. We put the drone up in the air, looked up how to change all the settings to something proper. But you know, I posted a video, by the way, to the Panhandle Weather Facebook page, as well as my Facebook page, on where you can adjust those settings, at least on an iPhone. It's a very crude video, but at least lets you know how to open up that exposure and get a longer exposure so it brings in more light, and that's how you're able to see the colors of the auroras. Now, Dan is going to pull up some of the pictures that have come in this evening, and I apologize. Is this one of our? This is the drone.
So I was pulling up our drone photos first, and I'm going to be off camera for a while as I kind of drive at the desktop computer. But this was what our drone captured. This was a 3-second exposure of light as we look towards a little west of north. Right now is the best viewing distance to see, and that was looking northward from Inlet Beach. A little light pollution you see up towards, I'd say Freeport, Chris, is what you're picking up on there. But I think I can scroll through some of these images, and you can see we were definitely picking up on that towards the middle of the sky. Chris could step off to the side there. This was a little bit of a higher shot there, and you can see the difference in color. That was kind of the real telltale there, Chris, was as you look towards the very top of the sky, you got the normal color if you had a long exposure shot, and then you have that brief pink showing up. And of course, now everybody sending in photos. So I'll try to drag those in as quickly as possible, but Chris...
That's okay. We want to see everyone's pictures. That's the awesome thing about this.
Yeah, we could spend probably 3 hours looking at all of these. They're going to come in quicker than I can download them.
They're easy. It's easy to do, though. Just go into the Panhandle Weather app, and you'll be able to scroll down on the screen and go to submit photos, and that's the easiest way to do it.
So we're going in order now. So chronologically speaking, if you sent one 30 minutes ago, I might not get to it here for a little while, but these are the northern lights from Lisenby and Airport Road over in Panama City. That was sent in from Jeannie, and then another great one showing up here just now as they are dropping in quicker than I can download them, which is awesome. We really appreciate that, and the usage of that Panhandle Weather app. This one right here, this came from Delwood, Florida, from Cassie. So look at that. And this is one of the things that, you know, we were skeptical about at first. As the first colors came in, like our drone shot, for example, you had kind of that flat color pink. But once you start seeing some texture in here, or the different kind of bands almost of color, that was a telltale giveaway, Chris, that we were really seeing what we thought we might be seeing. And it's happening kind of despite the conditions not being nearly as impressive, at least forecast-wise, as what we saw.
So this is up in Jackson County near Two Egg.
Okay.
So this is a good spot to see them, just by virtue of the fact that you're not dealing with any light pollution. Probably explains why this looks a good bit better than what we were able to get from the drone down here on the beach, where obviously you're going to have light pollution that you're going to have to deal with.
Here's another one I really like. I will pull that up right here. This one sent in from
Richard.
good friend Richard Millett in Pretty
Yeah,
Bayou.
the Bay Astronomers Association. So he knows what he's doing, and he's over in Pretty Bayou, and he's looking up. So this is obviously on the east side of the bay, looking north, and you see some of that color there off into the distance. The Northern Lights.
And so one of the things we're seeing is a wide variety of colors popping up here. The number one thing you're going to see, though, generally speaking, is that pink or red color. And that's what this image kind of shows best. This is from Mike, and I believe, if I can use my eyesight to my best of my abilities, I think we're looking across the bay here. I thought for a second we were seeing the Hathaway Bridge, but those are just lights off in the distance. But
oh, no, that's my buddy Mike Bogenreef. So he's on the Choctawhatchee Bay
okay, that explains
in Santa Rosa Beach. So he's looking kind of like more towards like Niceville is kind of, I think, the view that he's looking at right there. Because you see that gap in the light. So I think that's kind of that gap between Freeport and over toward like the Niceville VPS area.
And then here's, let's go back once again. So there's Sandra, another shot there. And it's really cool that you can actually see the columns of light. And if you had a time-lapse video running of this, you'd actually see some of that wave-like motion in the sky as this continues to move on through. We continue to get pictures in quicker than I can download them, so I'm going to save some of these.
Do you want to bring some in? I can maybe go through an explainer of exactly what the heck the Northern Lights are and why we are seeing them?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I also want to check on some of the conditions as well, just to see how long we could potentially be seeing this tonight. This wasn't even supposed to be the evening that we were most anticipating. It was tomorrow night that had previously
Wednesday night, yeah.
Previously been outlined as maybe the most likely night to see them this far south. And I put that web story up just before 6 o'clock tonight. And, you know, to be honest, both nights, tonight and tomorrow night, the conditions didn't look all that good. When you have the benchmark of last May and everybody seeing it from the beach all the way up to, all the way down to the Keys.
You know, I think though, in the end, and who knows, we're by far not experts in this field. But I think, you know, part of it is like I went my whole life until I was in Macon. So this had to be in like the early 2000s, I think, when I saw the Northern Lights for the first time. And that's in Macon. That was the first time. The second time was like just a couple years ago. But I think, you know, what it is like if you were to go outside right now and look for the Northern Lights, you're not going to see them with your own naked eye. But now we're all walking around with like these super cameras in our pockets that give us the ability to take a picture, and with minimal effort, it draws in that light and it gives you the colors that you're able to see from the Northern Lights. But when, you know, Dan and my son and I went to like the porch to look over the horizon, we're like, you couldn't see anything. And then you take the camera and we're like, I think so. And then we put the drone up and changed the settings on that, and we were able to see, you know, we were like, holy cow, that's definitely the Northern Lights. So I think part of it, though, is maybe they've been there a little bit more frequent than we thought at these lower latitudes. It's the fact that we all just have crazy good cameras in our pockets these days. So anyway, so if you've seen, I posted, I think, about it a couple times on our pages that the space weather people had said, you know, there was a solar flare that came from the sun, and it was going to be traveling towards the Earth. So, you know, where do these auroras come from? Well, it's the solar wind. It's heat and charged particles that are emitted by the sun, and they travel through space. And there we are, off into the distance. Now, around the Earth is the magnetic field, okay? It shields us from these particles that come out periodically from the sun. So they're able to kind of rebuff it. So the magnetic field protects us from most of those particles, acting basically like a shield. Now, a solar storm, whenever you get one of these big, huge solar flares or a solar storm, they're able to emit more of those particles than typically end up seeing. And so what ends up happening, that wind pushes against the magnetic field that goes around the sun. And so these extra charged particles can reach the Earth's poles. They're able to kind of get through the defense of the Earth. Now, collisions of charged particles from the sun collide with oxygen and nitrogen in the Earth's atmosphere. So we're going back to chemistry class there in high school. Okay, and it's that interaction there with basically the oxygen and nitrogen that yields the different colors that we end up seeing. So orange or oxygen is red and green light, and that's primarily what we're seeing at our latitude. Now, as you go a little bit to the north, you're able to get more of the blues and purples or pinks and blues, and that would be as a result of the nitrogen particles. So the auroras, as far as the shapes of the aurora depend on the viewing position and the Earth's magnetic field. So it just depends upon where you are in relation to the poles and how that is all set up. So anyway, that is our brief little explainer as to where the auroras come from and how we end up with the colors that we end up having. So a little going back in school, a little earth science, if you will, or astronomy, I guess it would probably be more appropriate. Let me step out of the way.
So we're pulling in lots of pictures here now, and I have to refresh. Hopefully I don't take us down. I have to quickly refresh our streaming application so that I can see some comments coming in as well. Looks like we're still up. So we're all good.
I can look at some of the comments that are coming in. You want my page, your page?
I'm all good. So here we go. We've got some pictures coming in. I'm not going to be able to get to everybody's name with these either, but you can see all sorts of shapes, colors, different types of images coming in, and I'm just mystified at what we are able to see with the modern cell phone cameras that we have, Chris. Check out this one, looking out over water once again. You've got that mirror effect as you got a pretty bright band of red showing up there. Another shot here poking through the stars. Looks like just a small amount of light pollution down towards the horizon, but we definitely are seeing, at least with the camera lens, these red colors showing up in our skies. Be sure to share your pictures as well on the Panhandle Weather app. There's another one, Chris, that's kind of similar to what I saw at my house the first time this happened about 18 months ago. It was just a deep shade of purple and red appearing, and that's kind of the first signs you have that things are getting exciting even down here in the Panhandle. And as we continue to move through these, that's kind of the common theme. You continue to see just that red glow down towards the horizon. If you open the camera up for longer, you might pick up on a slightly brighter color. And then if you wait a little bit too long, like we accidentally did with the drone, you just completely blow the image out and can't see anything at all. Just fascinating, though. This is becoming a somewhat yearly thing for us to see.
Yep, death taxes and seeing the auroras in the Panhandle. It's to think that this is. We had another event that was after the big one that some people were able to see them, but that was kind of like this one in the fact that you couldn't see it with the naked eye. That big event that we had in May. Was it May that you said? May
was the big one.
May a year and a half ago. That one you could actually see with the naked eye, which was crazy.
And then we also had October last year,
yes,
which was camera only.
Yes, that was the other one that was like that you couldn't necessarily. I didn't personally see it, but I wasn't in a good spot to be able to see it even with my phone. Let's see. Garrett, I'm sure we got it there. What direction do we? You're going to generally look toward the north.
A little bit west of north right now.
Okay, and that setting on the phone is going to end up being Are you pulling?
Yeah, I'm gonna AirPlay right here.
Okay.
If I can get it to work.
Oh, here, let me. You just have to swipe out. Hold on.
Screen mirroring.
There we go.
Okay, so I've cycled back around on some of these pictures, Chris, but let's see what we can do here.
Are you still wanting to mirror?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're there you go.
Nice. Okay, so we've got a look at the conditions right here, and I'll pull that down for you, Chris. So we can keep that up the way it is. So the conditions right now, this is from the NOAA Space Weather Prediction Center, which sounds like a really cool job title if you work there, Chris. But they have the latest observations coming in right now, and at the moment, this storm, the 24-hour observed maximum is a G4 severe. So you go from 1 to 5. It's a scale kind of like severe weather scales, and space weather's kind of like severe weather forecasting in a strange way because you're finding ingredients, but you watch our forecast during severe weather time. It's not like we can pinpoint, hey, there's going to be a tornado right here, and the northern lights are kind of the same way. They look at the ingredients of what's coming in from these coronal mass ejections, or CMEs, and they determine based on those observations what conditions we might expect once the sun sets and we get into darkness. At a G4 right now, we are not as strong as where we were last year when it was kind of naked eye visible. So that explains why we're kind of in a camera-only mode right now. Meanwhile, though, the BZ number right here, you probably aren't going to be able to see that at home. That's -17. So the more negative it is, the more negatively displaced the sun and the Earth's magnetic fields are comparable to one another. And as you get negatively displaced, the northern lights become a whole lot less northern. So that's one of the more important factors as to why we can see it so far towards the south. And I'm curious to see here if they have any forecast products right now. Obviously, you have that right there. That was the forecast for this evening, and you'll see we're a lot further south than what was previously forecast there, Chris. But ultimately, I'm trying to figure out here, based on their forecast, just how much longer we're going to enjoy this for.
And the other thing is that this doesn't exist like this prediction and the space weather stuff doesn't exist oh, who's going to see pretty colors? It actually is it's like national security, things of that nature, like the electrical grid, the safety of satellites in space. It really has the colors are just like a byproduct of it that are really cool, but it's primarily, you have to click on it on the iPad. It has a lot more to do than just the pretty colors.
Yeah, we're looking more at things like radio outages. Yes. Could be something that's a big problem
GPS.
For aviation's probably one of the more impacted fields, which you can't really impact it more than it already has been recently. But there's another thing that's throwing a wrench into the action. But right now, conditions are kind of getting more intense, it looks like. You can see your flux right here is increasing. There's your threshold right there. The KP index, so last year was KP 9. That's as high as it gets. Right now, at least by the looks of things, we're not even close to that. So it is kind of unbelievable that we can see anything at all. Very special set of circumstances underway. And I think a demonstration as to how little space weather is an exact science still. Weather prediction has only in the last 30 years kind of improved to where it is. And then this is probably on that same timeline back at that starting line right now.
Yeah, the earthquakes and tsunamis, it's all, they're very smart people that work on it, but none of this is gospel for sure.
I'm going to check and see real quick as you guys probably continue to send in photos, but really interesting stuff. I think this is one The latest update on X from NOAA is that this one's probably going to continue for a decent amount of time tonight. I also got a text from Ben Luna, Chris.
Yes.
Our friend at Tennessee Valley Weather. Some of the HAZ cams at the moment are picking up on this.
Okay. Holy cow, y'all are doing great. Sending in pictures.
Okay, so I'm going to modify this right here. And I'll let you jump in front of this in a second, Chris, because this is amazing. But I have to code it really quickly, so just bear with us.
And let's see. Do you want to bring up links? And so these are some of the pictures that you guys are sending in. Now it's obviously more of a thumbnail as far as, let's see, I don't think I can adjust the pattern on here, but you can see, look at all these pictures that y'all have sent in. This is just this evening, so that's 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32 pictures.
Unbelievable.
Already sent in through the Panhandle weather app. That's from Laura over into Callaway, Bear Creek, Kelly, Melissa Houston, and Santa Rosa Beach. Lynn Haven, Claire, Northern Lights in Bonifay, Jackson County near Sneeds. Bill is in the Sandhills. River Camps, that's from Sharon Terrell. Oh, that's gorgeous. Jennifer Daniels, Kynard. Sandra Vaught. Smoky Mountains, this one right here. This is the one Dan showed from Lisenby and Airport. Sunny Hills from Bill. Pam Jones. Callaway from Ron. Cassie, that was, let's see, looks like that was, that was near, not too far away from Two Egg there.
Okay, so these are live cameras now that I'm going to load in for you here. And Chris, these are the HazCams cameras that we're still trying to put up out around the Panhandle. That's proven to be slightly more difficult than we thought. But other cameras across the country right now within the same camera network are now picking up on some of these northern lights in live time. This is the camera from up in Tennessee. It's Waynesboro, Tennessee, so I want to make sure I got the right location on that. But you can see right now up towards the top of the sky, there are not just the reds, but you're also seeing some of the greens. It's showing a little more yellow here with the exposure settings and the color correction of the camera, but those are the greens that stack a little bit lower. The northern lights kind of three distinct colors. You have your blue right towards the bottom of the atmosphere, then the green is above that, and then the red's at the top of the atmosphere, which is why that's normally the only color we can see down here in the Panhandle. As you get further north, though, you start to see those greens, and you see a lot more of a light show, too. Even in real time, you can kind of see those different beams of green dancing
Usually
across
red
the sky.
red is about it for us.
Yeah, I don't think we've gotten past red with any of these events. But it's not just Tennessee. There's some cameras here, I think, from the Alabama Weather Network. Russellville here is picking up on kind of a similar view right now. You do have some light pollution down at the bottom, but that's just fascinating to look at, Chris. Alabama, not just seeing some red, but like true northern lights on display in areas with low light pollution right now. And it's not just the Russellville camera. I think Snyder here has a similar view, and that one perhaps is even better, Chris. You can actually see some movement right there. The number of frames of this camera, it's certainly not 60 frames per second like Sunday Night Football, but it's definitely more of a slideshow. You can still see some movement on the right side of the screen.
It's Hascams. Where is that one?
This is Snyder, Alabama.
Snyder, Alabama.
Oh, Arkansas. Sorry.
Arkansas. Okay.
It's real small on our screen here. So this is a Tuscaloosa here, Bryant-Denny Stadium. Just very faint.
A lot more light pollution there, though.
So I can layer our camera on that, and now it's a green screen.
Oh. What about, maybe too cloudy up there. I was going to say Erie. They still have that camera up in Erie, just because it's at a higher latitude.
Well, here's Mississippi. That's amazing.
Wow.
So now we're getting into Matt Laubon's viewing area here. And if you live in Mississippi, I think Mississippi Live Weather still is live covering the views over there too. But that is a fantastic view. Even with the city lights, which are a little out of focus, you can see so much color there towards up in the sky. There's so many options here for us to choose from, Chris. Continue to bounce around.
It's amazing how many can see it.
But
I mean, when you get all the way down to the Florida Panhandle, everyone north of us is going to have a much better shot than we do. So if we're seeing it.
So over in Pikeville, Kentucky, that is fantastic. It almost looks like a sunset, Chris. Of course, the sunset, well, my watch is an hour behind because I don't participate in time changes with this, but you know, the sun set almost 6 hours ago, and still you see peeking through the clouds right there a decent amount of color. And just down towards the bottom, you have some light pollution influence from where there's a little more civilization, but you definitely have the very top of the green color showing up there as well. So just fantastic views. I kind of wish our cameras were up now just to see what we could pick up on. But we could see what you guys are seeing by switching back to some of the latest photos that have been brought in on our app.
Go to published.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the most recent one. That is Amy and Fountain.
I remember looking for these in Fountain myself last year. Panama City wasn't doing it for me, so I got in the car and drove up to the North Florida Motorplex, which was the perfect place to see them with all the darkness up there. We'll pull that back up on screen. So here's Amy and Fountain. You can see behind the trees. The trees really help to put into perspective just how much color you're picking up on. We'll drag this in. So this is up in Mariana. This came in from Andrea. Got another Bear Creek shot here.
Nice.
So that's up in Bear Creek. I almost like the shots with a little light pollution better, Chris.
Yeah.
Helps you make believe a little bit more that you're seeing the greens and getting the full suite of colors up there in the sky. My phone is blowing up as well. Everybody's just saying, wow.
It's, let's see, today's, spaceweather.com, G4 geomagnetic storm is underway. Following the early arrival of 2 CMEs on October 11th, they've been photographed in the U.S. as far south as Colorado, New Mexico, Texas. Update it to Florida. It is dark. If it's dark where you live, go outside, look north for the geomagnetic glow. If you can't see anything, try taking a nighttime exposure using your smartphone. You might be surprised. and that's exactly what we were.
So we'll head back to Alabama here, Chris. I'm pulling in some of the live camera feeds now. I believe this is another Alabama Weather Network camera with the HazCam's suite here. That is just incredible to see live on a camera. There's no long exposure here, and that's only a 3-hour drive north of where we are.
Yeah.
Truly fascinating.
Just amazing. That is...
So this is back at the Waynesboro cam.
Okay.
It's just mesmerizing to look at. I don't have anything left to say.
I know. It's pretty amazing. I hope everyone's getting a chance to enjoy it. Text your friends. Have them download the Panhandle Weather app and watch along and take a look at everything we're seeing. And if you happen to catch some pictures of it, go ahead and send them to us. We'll be happy to share them. And we'll put a more robust album together with the pictures when this is all done.
Yeah, and there's the download link for the Panhandle Weather app. So if you're watching on your TV, you'll be able to scan that. If you're currently on your phone, QR codes aren't that helpful, but you can head over to the iOS or Google Play Store and share your pictures. I'm sure we won't be finished with sharing pictures here tonight, no. Chris. We'll probably continue to receive some pictures over the next several days, but just fascinating to see all the different stuff that's happening across the Panhandle this evening, but then across the country too. We continue to see another amazing event.
Wow.
They're still trickling in?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so Erie is filled with clouds right now.
Yeah, well, they had big lake effect snow today. That's the way it's going to look for the next 6 months.
Yeah, over on the West Coast too, a lot of clouds up towards the Pacific Northwest. So even Northern California, I think Mike Kruger had mentioned there were some clouds up there. Fortunately here, we've got no clouds. Now, of course, it is a little chilly outside to be spending too much time looking at.
We had the garage door open for a few minutes and to fly the drone up.
That proved to be pretty uncomfortable pretty quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, right now it's in the low 40s at the beaches, 30s inland, already near freezing in Bluntstown and Tallahassee. But we'll see those temperatures actually probably warm up overnight, especially along the beaches. So it's probably about as cold as it's going to end up getting.
So I think for our finishing shot here, just trying to quickly get it from my phone into the computer. I have a long exposure camera shot of out over the water. This from Joseph Mandeville. Perhaps, now it's cheating a little bit with professional camera equipment, but perhaps my favorite picture so far. The color is incredible.
Oh, wow.
So we'll save that and drag her on in. So here is what things looked like out over the water just a few moments ago. Looking towards the north, this is a long exposure shot, probably not too long, similar to the camera settings we used on the drone, but a true camera here, and you're picking up on a beautiful shade of pink with the reflection out over the water. Just a fantastic night, a good reward after the cool down that we have seen to start off this week.
Vernon, folks sending in pictures from. Mossy Head. Let's go over here. This is a good one from Cape Sandblast.
Yeah, I just had that one pulled up.
Okay.
You're getting to them quicker than I am. There really hasn't been a bad view in the Panhandle tonight, at least on a camera.
No.
Now, obviously, if you look outside right now and turn to the north from your house, you're going to be like, what are they talking about? But
yeah,
with a camera, you can get some amazing shots. And when you're down in Florida, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Let's see, that's Fountain. This is Santa Rosa Beach. That's a pretty view, though, looking down the bayou there and out towards the Choctawhatchee Bay and the northern lights to the north. This is River Camps from Sharon. Looking north, so this is up near 388. This is Malone. You can see the hue to the sky there. This is Northern Lights from Jennifer. That looks like it's up in Chipley. There's Bonifay. Man, y'all have done such a great job sharing your pictures. It's awesome. Again, all this because of the solar wind and this geomagnetic storm that that we're all kind of bearing the fruits of. And it's actually, it can be an impactful event from telecommunications and stuff like that, but it all comes from that solar wind and these particles that come from the sun and come crashing into the magnetic field that is around the Earth. And sometimes they're able to kind of get around there, and that's what we're seeing right now. When there are just so many particles, it gets around that protection that the Earth provides, and is able to get in there, and it's the bending of the light and kind of the waviness, like if you've ever seen like a time lapse of the Northern Lights, you can see them kind of waving and kind of dancing and stuff like that. Man, I was just talking to someone recently that was is really big into this, and they were talking about like taking a trip to go see them. Just go up to Vernon.
Yeah.
Go up to Bonifay. You don't need to go to Canada or Iceland or
get a hotel room in Huntsville and then drive 30 minutes towards darkness. You got the same experience.
Yeah. So, but anyway, this is how it all happens with the particles getting around the Earth, and this occasionally, you end up with situations like this. And like I said, I've been doing this for a long time, and this is one of a few times I've seen it. But I think too, it's partially because we all have these super phones in or cameras in our pockets. And as we all kind of learn to use them more, it's easy to set the exposure. I mean, think about like as a kid, I mean, we had like little paper cameras practically, or a Polaroid. I mean, there was no adjusting the settings on those.
Yeah.
So.
Those disposable cameras I grew up with, definitely not capturing this, but just with a phone now you can see a whole lot more. Of course, tonight wasn't really expected to be the big show.
No.
So we'll keep an eye out for conditions tomorrow. Obviously, I think these are a good set of benchmark conditions, even though we're by no means space weather experts.
No.
Now we know what to look for as far as the BZ and the KP index and all of that sort of stuff. We can kind of look towards sunset tomorrow night, and if there does happen to be another G4 sort of impact from the Space Weather Prediction Center around sunset tomorrow, I think you'll get a similar show. Warmer temperatures, though, to be outside. You can bear it for a little bit longer.
Yeah, it'll be a whole lot warmer, but really cool stuff, and I think we're more prepared too. We know how to set the drone camera, a little bit better, and we got some pictures from that to at least verify this. And I'm glad we're able to, and that's the beauty of having the app and sending that push notification, that we were able to just kind of communicate directly with you that this was going on. And here we are showing you pictures and having a conversation, and awesome stuff here on this, what is it? It's Tuesday night.
Yeah, unbelievable. Another good night here at Panhandle Weather. Go outside, take some time to just enjoy what's happening here. I know we've been spoiled recently, but it is a rare event. So enjoy it while it lasts, and we will see you with some forecast updates. If you don't catch them tonight, we'll be back at 4:30 tomorrow morning.